Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm so excited to start this series with you guys. 1 year is passed after the last top 100 games of all times, and here we are again. In 2025, I played more than 300 new games to me, and some of them made it, some of them not. And so, without further ado, let's get started. On number 800, we have a new entry. This is Everbloom. In Everbloom, you have a very interesting concept. You place chips, every player has some chips that represent their pollinators. And they go between the 1 and 4, sometimes 5. And essentially, you are bidding for some locations where you have cards. You place your pollinators. If you bid higher than your opponent, you win the card. If not, your pollinator goes in a bio, and the pollinators that the card that you get, you place on your tableau, creating an engine. The pollinators that they go into the biodome are used to activate your engine. So there is this nice balance. You don't want to win all the cards because otherwise you don't have pollinator to activate your engine. And so very, very interesting, very tactical because at some point you are hoping to win a card and you lose it, or the opposite. You was hoping to lose a card and you win it because of how people have interacted and how people have played their chips. And each faction is different, it's asymmetrical. I like the look of it, the splash of colors. Very, very cool game. Everbloom, a number 100. At number 99, we have a game that was 76 last year. So it dropped quite a bit. And probably next year is not going to be in the list. I think it's because it's a little bit too long for me. And this is Defender of the Realm. Defender of the Realm is essentially Pandemic, but with a fantasy theme. So you have minions spawning and the big monsters that are moving towards the central city. And if they get there, you lose. So you need to kill first all the minions and then kill them all. You roll dice, and those dice give you combos. You have special cards. You also have side quests that give you extra special cards with special powers. Very, very cooperative. I really like the tension. Unfortunately, it's a little bit long and it can be very punishing. Like when you sit there for 3 hours and then you lose, or you see that you cannot make it, it's a little bit deflating. But call me at your board game night and you playing it. I'm gonna play Defender of the Realm. At 98, we have a game that was 90 last year, so essentially didn't change much. And this is Love Letter. Love Letter is a classic game. In Love Letter, everyone gets a card with a special power, and then you can utilize this power to kill or eliminate some other players on the table, or change your power with your card of the deck, the central deck. And there's a little bit of bluffing. Very, very cool. Very, very quick. I mean, if you never played it, this is a game that you can really ends up being in your pocket. You can play anytime. Fantastic little card game. Love Letter. At number 97, we have a game that actually gained 2 position, was 99 last year, but I think it's more or less the same. And this is Jamaica. Jamaica is a racing game. I love racing games. You will see that there are so many racing games. This is a racing game with a pirate theme. And it's a classic game. You go around the island of Jamaica, rolling dice, and it seems like a roll and move because at the beginning of the round, a player rolls the dice and those dice will indicate the movements that you're gonna do. There's a 2 dice, so one movement you're gonna sign up for day night, and one movement you're gonna sign for morning. And then you move down that amount of spaces. You try to get food, you get money, and also sometimes if you land in the same space of the opponents, you have some battles between the two, and whoever loses goes backwards. Who wins can steal something, and so there's that kind of element. It's not as punishing as it may sound. The only thing is sometimes, especially a higher player count, those battling dragged the game a little bit for me. So I'm surprised that after 1 year it's still in the top 100. I really like this game, but considering how many games show up every year, I don't know if I'm gonna see next year still. But Jamaica 97. 96, we have a 2-player only game, was 77 last year, and this is Lost City. Lost City, it's brilliant. It's so addicting. It's a classic game where you have a deck of cards and you trying to lay the same colors in front of you, as many cards as possible. You're going to score points based on the value of the card. You have 6 decks from 2 to 10, and you also some multiplier. When you place a card in front of you, you start that sequence, that color, and you have to go in ascending order. And every time you need to draw a card, either from the discard pile or from the deck, and you need to play a card or discard a card. And the tension is that you have that push your luck element. If you start yellow with a 2 and you have a 9 and 10 in your hands, you want to have 7, 8. You're waiting for those cards because it will give you a great reward after that, because you're going to sum all the points. But the problem is, once you start a column, if you don't pass a threshold in terms of points, you're going to get negative points. And I like that tension, like how long you want to wait. Is the card that you're looking for in your opponent's hand? You don't know that. So very, very interesting. Pull back and forth, super quick. I really remember the first time I played. I thought I was not going to like it. My wife and I love it. Our cards are so beaten up because we played it so much. And number 96, Lost City. Number 95, we have a game that was 63 last year. And this is one of my favorite card games. I played it so much, especially back in the days, back in grad school. I played it so much at the national level. I went for international competition, and this is Bridge. This is one of the all classic auction game, trick-taking game, limited communication, amazing game. Perhaps it's the odd or the outlier in this list. You don't gonna see that many classic games, but Bridge always has a special spot in my heart. I keep playing on my phone every day. Amazing game. 95, Bridge. 94, we have a huge drop. It was a 23 last year, but I think because I haven't played it at all last year, despite I have the new version, and I know I'm gonna play it this weekend. So I'm super excited, and I hope this game will go back up. And this is Ethnos. Ethnos is a clever area control game where you place your troops on the board, and whoever's the most troop in that specific area will get so that amount of point. The way you do it is that you need to play cards of the same color to place your troop, and the same color that needs to match the location, the area you're going to play it into. And on top of that, the card that you put on top of the sequence that you're going to play give you some special power. But the trick is that during your turn, you can draw a card to make your sequence higher. Now, the higher is the number, the more troops you can put. And especially you want to overbid or put more troops of some opponents. But when you place troop on the board, you are forced to discard all your cards of your hand, giving it for the opponents, or essentially put it in the discard pile and people can grab them. So there is very clever tension. You going for example, orange, but sometimes you draw blue, and blue is very good. And you want to go for orange, but if you go for orange, then you need to discard blue. And there is that very strong tension, extremely interactive, very quick, very easy to teach. Now the new version, extremely good looking. I look forward to play it again. Number 94, Ethnos. At 93, we have a new entry, a game that I played for the first time last year, and this is New York 1901. This is not a new game, but I played for the first time last year, and I love it. This is area control with a Ticket to Ride feeling. The Ticket to Ride feeling is that you draw cards on a river, and these cards have colors, and you need to spend those cards to place your skyscraper in Manhattan. And the colors matches the area where you're going to place your skyscrapers. You need more cards to place bigger skyscrapers. And what you're doing is area control. You're also trying to achieve some goals in terms of how many skyscrapers you're going to have in a specific street or district. Then, as soon as you pass a threshold in points, you can upgrade your skyscraper. But the interesting part is, the bigger the skyscraper is, the more points you have. But at the end of the game, the area control aspect is that all the skyscraper count for one. So you can have many small skyscraper that maybe don't score many points throughout the game, but score a lot at the end of the game. Or you can have few skyscraper on the board, but big ones that have scored you lots of points throughout the game. It's a very nice balance. Can be a little bit mean because it can be some blocking paper some blocking from the opponent, but I really, really like it. It says New York 1901 and number 93. Number 92 was 78 last year. It's another trick-taking game. It's only 2-player, and it's The Fox in the Forest. I like this game. I like trick-taking game, and I like this trick-taking game because it does something that is you're familiar with, trick-taking. So you need to follow the suit. The highest card wins. But each odd card has a special power to give you some twist. And also I like that you score points based on the number of tricks that you have taken. If you take 7, so in the middle, you score 0 points or 1 point. But if you get them all or get almost none, you get lots of points. And I like that. Either no win them all or win all of them. I really like winning 1 or 2 or 3. So the opponents end up having that kind of 7 tricks that doesn't score that much. I really, really like that tension. And so, you can go in both directions. You go for the mood, you climb them all, or you just score just few. So your opponent gets 6 or 7, and then he scores 0 and you score more points. Really, really like it. The Fox in the Forest. 91, we have a new entry, and this is Photograph. Photograph is a card shedding game. Very interesting. So what the idea is, you have a film and you're trying to put the cards in this order, but you cannot rearrange your cards until you have played a certain number of tricks. Then you can rewind your film. There's a puzzle how you're gonna place the cards in your hands, and when you're gonna rewind them, how you're gonna play them, when you're gonna discard them until you get the perfect sequence. Very, very satisfying, very quirky. It's not easy to teach, but once it clicks, very satisfying puzzle, very quick, and I like that in card games. And this is 91 Photograph. Number 90, we have, this is a quirky game. This is a Paella Park. In Paella Park, you are zombie in a theme park and doing zombie stuff in a theme park. You go on the flipper, you go on the cups and saucers, you go on to see shows, go to the merchandise stand. You do the usual things that you would do in the park. The cool thing is it's a 9 rounds, I think, or 8 rounds. I think it's a 8 rounds or something like that. And each round indicates an hour that you spend at the park. And you essentially have this time that you need to spend to do an action. And so you may want to go to the roller coasters, and that will cost you 5 minutes to go to the roller coaster. Then if you want to do the roller coaster, you find there might be the queue. You need to wait in line, but you can skip the line and risk to be caught. And if you get caught, you have a penalty. But if you don't get caught, you can save time, which time is very precious in this game, and then you can do your ride. So you have that push your luck element. Then you have the set collection. You score points based off, if you do the most scariest rides, if you go and eat food there, or you go to that stand, if you find the zombie queen and you take picture with the zombie queen. The most weirdest part of this game is when you have a ride, you flip at the wheel, and you may puke. And when you puke on your opponents, you pick which opponents you're puking on, and pukes is negative points. At the end of the game, these negative points are irrelevant almost. Everyone is puking to each other, kind of cancel out. But it's hilarious to have actually a board where you need to mark your t-shirt where your puke is. At the end of the game, you're laughing because of the experience. I don't know how long the legs of these games are, but I'm look forward to play it again and have some laugh. And this is number 90, Paella Park. Number 89, we have a game that dropped quite a bit. It was 42 last year. And this is Balbara. Balbara is a very interactive game where you are trying to score points essentially by grabbing tiles or cards that gives you some scoring conditions based on the land. These are land styles. Some of them just give you the more lands you have, the more points. Someone is multiply. Sometimes it is if you have a pair, it's 5 points. If you have 3, it's 0. If you have 4, it's 10 points, that kind of stuff. But how do you grab those cards? You can do it by playing one card with a special power simultaneously with all the other players. And those cards have a number, and the number, the smaller number goes first, has a weaker power, or this higher number goes last, but has a stronger power. And so there is that kind of balancing, trying to outread your opponent. Very quick, it plays very rapidly, it's easy to teach. I think I had two bad sessions last year, and that's perhaps made me reevaluate this game. But I've still in my collection. I will play it again and see where it lands next year. Number 89, Balbar. At number 88, we have a game was 85 last year, so essentially still in the same place, and it's the Resistance Avalon. Avalon is a better version of Werewolf, essentially. There you have the good guys, you have the bad guys, and you know your role, but you don't know the other people's role. There are some special roles like Merlin or the Morgana, and you're gonna have a mission leader, and the mission leader would decide who is gonna go in the mission. There are several missions in each game and require a specific number of players to go in the mission. And we'll pick, there's some discussion, and then every player have two cards. One is fail, one is succeed, and we'll vote whether the mission succeed or fail. And those cards they will reveal. So if the mission fails, you know that among those 3 or 4 people been to the mission, some of them are the bad people, the minions of Mordor. And so there's that discussion, try to figure out who is lying, and very, very fun. Obviously, it's that kind of game that is a little bit delicate because if you don't like lying, it's a little bit difficult or very tough on you. But if you do, and if you take, it's a game, so don't feel bad if you lie about it. At number 88, we have the Resistance Avalon. Number 87, we have a new entry. This is a 2-only player game. This is a drafting game. I didn't expect a drafting game could be so engaging when it's a drafting game for 2 people. And this is Canopy. In Canopy, you are drafting cards that allow you to draw your trees in the Amazonia. It allow you to have plants and animals, and all of them will score in a different way. The cool aspect is you have 3 decks, one with less cards and one with a little bit more and one with a lot of cards. You pick at the first deck with less cards and you decide you want to keep it or not. If you don't, one more card gets added and you look at the second one and you have the same choice. So sometimes you see some cards that this is not great, maybe there's something better afterwards, and then you end up seeing that it's not. The beautiful art, the beautiful component, the very small package make this game really dear to me. And this is 87 Canopy. At number 86, we have a game was number 70 last year, and this is Domination Road to Civilization. This is a abstract civilization game with interesting pieces. Yeah, it's a point salad. Every turn, you're going to place a tile. In the way you place the tile, you activate some resources. You can spend those resources to place city, to buy new cars and make an engine building, a tech Tetris on your side. Everything you do gives you points. Very, very satisfying. Unfortunately, the abstract and not very interactive nature make this game over time less interesting to me, and perhaps that's why it's falling, but still a very fun game. Domination Road to Civilization. Number 85, we have also a game that dropped quite a bit. Unfortunately, it's not in my collection. It was at number 43 last year, and this is Via Nebula. Via Nebula, it's a fun, essentially train game where you have a board full of clouds and you need to connect some areas to gather resources, to use those resources to build buildings, which essentially will score you points. And so the train aspect that you during your turn you can place some tiles to build that route, but that route can be utilized by your opponent. So there is that tension. You don't want to develop too much because you may help someone else to gather those resources. Very, very simple. If you never played it but you like train games and you want to introduce this concept to someone else and have an amazing looking game, Via Nebula is definitely a game that you may want to check that out. At number 84, we have a game also dropped 40 plus positions. It was 41 last year, and this is For Sale. I don't know why it dropped. I played it quite a bit. I guess there are many other games that I played more, and now I tend to play maybe heavier games. Last year I played quite a bit heavier games than the year before. And For Sale is a very simple card game. At the beginning, you're given a certain amount of money, and you need to use those money to buy cards, which represent houses. And then the second phase of the game, you use those cards to bid, or you want to sell those cards to win money. Every round, you're going to have a certain amount of money. The highest card will get the highest amount of money. and so on and so forth. And you repeat this for several times. So it's very simple to teach because people know you bid higher, you get a higher card. You spend a higher card, you get a higher number of money. The funny part is that you try to memorize which card or highest card is in other people's hand and try to decide when is the best time to play the high cards, if it's worth it, if you need to wait, because sometimes you have also zero money, so you don't want to spend maybe like a 10 and get a zero. Very, very cool upset. Number 84 for sale. At number 83, we have a game that was 73 last year, and this is Arcs is a 4X game with a trick-taking mechanism in it. Very cool idea. Your dealt a hand of cards will dictate what kind of action you can do. If you lead the trick, you can do all the action listed in your hand. If you follow, the same. But sometimes you want to do something else and you cannot follow, so you have to pivot. That will allow you to do whatever you want, but only once. And so there is that decision making when to pivot, when to gain the lead, so win the trick, so you can lead, you can have the full potential of the card, when to claim a specific reward. Every round there's some specific rewards, and players decide which reward will trigger and how many points will be given at the end of the game. So you need to also decide when to do it, also based on the card. Definitely this game will be way, way higher in my list if I could play it in 90 minutes. The box says 90 to 2 hours. This game always lasts 3 to 4 hours, even with experienced players. If somehow I manage to bring this game down, this game will be definitely higher. But for now, it's at 83 Arcs. At number 82, we have also a big drop. It was 45 last year. This is Dice Age The Hunt. Dice Age The Hunt is a simple dice rolling game, kind of Las Vegas, where you have animals that you're hunting, and these are in the spots from 1 to 6. You roll dice and you can locate those dice based on the values. If you roll a 5, you can place your 5 dice on the number 5. At the end of the round, who has the majority will grab the card. And the card will score you points in a set collection fashion. If you're the fastest to finish or to place all your dice, you can get special powers, which give you special ability in the upcoming rounds. Very, very simple, very good looking game. No, I think this is a game that it dropped a little bit because I haven't played it that much. I think it will stand the test of time. At number 81, we have a game that was 54 last year. This is Chronologic Paris 1920. I know there's a new Chronologic that came out this year. I haven't played it, but I like the concept, and I saw the concept essentially is the same. Chronologic is Clue, but without rolling dice. In a Clue, you try to solve a murder, find who did it, where. In Chronologic, you do the same. Perhaps sometimes you have the time, the location, who did it, why, whatever. The way you do it is that you interrogate the deck. You take a card and you slice it into an interesting device so that you flip it, it shows you some icons. Those icons will tell you something that only for you and something that you're going to share with everyone. So there's also that element that everyone is involved in any other people's turn. And that's it. You take notes and you try to solve the case how you would do in a Clue. Very solid game. And this is number 81, Chronologic Paris 1920. And here you have it, the bottom 20 top 100 games of all times from 100 to 81. And if you made it so far, please don't forget to subscribe, like, share with your friends. You know the drill. This is not your first YouTube video, am I right? Thank you very much and see you next time.